any input from my mic. Hold on, hold up. Is that good? Can you hear from this one or this one? This one works? Check. Hello? My mic on? Does this sound terrible? I'm trying to figure out this mic thing. Hold up. Let's turn this down a bit. All right, hello. Mic check. Is it working? Is it alive? Am I 4? Hold on, let me just double check something. Oh, 4. You're probably hearing me from my other one. Okay, let me just switch it real quick. 4. All right. Okay, I think that's better. Anyways, hello. Hi. How's it going? So, cool news. Not really big updates, but it's kind of neat for anyone else looking for a V1. Or looking to get a V1, you don't have to do this update anymore. So now you just go ahead and you just put High Beam on there, or you put Artisan with the ESP32S3 or Arduino Nano, and you don't have to install the fan anymore because the newer versions, they finally have it. So after 2 years of bitching and moaning about not adding a active cooling kind of thing for the heatsink, they finally, after 2 years, and I think they had to go through this batch of custom boards. Basically, this is the last board they had before this new board came out, and now they did a thing where they moved the heatsink back a little bit, and this 24 volt connecting, I think it's controlled by a MOSFET, moved over to the right. So now it's not even controlled by a MOSFET, just straight 24 volts. I guess it would be. I think a MOSFET acts like a gate. But anyways, so now that's open, opened up so where you can actually put a fan in. So instead of getting these really slim fans, you can actually put these like 30-20 fans in. So that's one of the biggest additions. So let's see if I can show you this fan. Right. Anyways, this will be kind of a quick update. I'm just going to go ahead, put this together, and then I will do a roast with it. But yeah, just if you're thinking about buying a V1, yeah, so they are able to add this fan in now. Oh, that's my head. Okay, I don't know where it's at. Anyways, I'll pull this camera out. So now they're finally utilizing that fan cutout, and then they're putting in like a, I think this is like a 40-20 fan or 30-20 fan, 24 volts in, so it cools off the heatsink and it fits right into that area where before it wouldn't be able to fit. So there you go. So if one thing you're able to do now is you're able to, if your board does go out or like it blows up or something, you can actually just go purchase this new board probably, and they'll probably send you one. I'm just assuming that this batch of boards is done. They finally got sold it all. They're done, and now we're just left with these new ones. So this went from version 2.9, and I think they're at 3.1. So yeah, production date for this one was 4/28/2024. This one says on here production date of 8/13/2024. So about 4 months they were able to revise it. My guess is they ordered a shit ton of these before they realized that the fan couldn't fit, and they had the EE go back and redo everything to make sure it fits. But on the plus side, you really don't need to have the you don't have to do the heatsink mod anymore. It's done for you. So now you just plug the Skywalker directly to an ESP32S3 and you're good to go. or Arduino Nano. So I'm gonna put this back. And for this part, see if I can get a, that's all right. And we just plug this fan. Do that fan, cord, it just plugs right back into here. And you're good to go. Okay. So I gotta send this out to some guy. So I want to make sure I do a roast on it before I heads out, and we're gonna I'm gonna keep trying this whole low roasting method, or what's that method called? Light roasting method by Val and Haha Sky. So the whole 250-gram thing that we've been trying out with good results. I'm gonna try it with the co-ferment today. The only thing is I'll probably have to wait like forever to get it to be able to sample it. Anyways, I'm gonna put this panel back on. The cool thing is now I could just focus on and trying to install the V2 motor onto the V1. That's probably the biggest project next, and I think I have an idea that we're gonna rightfully so steal from Kaleido and be able to put a micro back panel on there, so we could prevent heat from entering the back area. So let me put this back together. A little trick you could do, get this back in, get like a USB port, plug it in to line up the board. And that will kind of line it up, and you just got to line up the hole and then screw it back in. Yep, and that should fit pretty well. And you could just adjust these screws until you get the right fit. Cool. All right, so that's in there, has a good fit. We're gonna put this back panel back on. So with that connector, what it does now is it turns that fan on every time you roast. So it's not gonna be like a fan that's just actively on all the whole time, anytime it's powered. It's gonna only turn on during when you roast, when you hit the roast button. When it, you know, when it's in a roasting mode, so. Which is fine. It's just nice that they actually added an active cooling option. And if you really feel like it, you can also just plug it into the power supply straight up. So it just automatically just cools off the heatsink. So that's one of the nice parts. And whoever's getting this unit, this was a straight up return. I don't know what happened. It looked brand new when I opened it. The only thing is I saw a fan in here and I realized they're starting to add fans now, which was kind of the biggest issue most dangerous thing was like the thermal runaway issue. So I think that'll be all but solved for the V1 users. The next thing though is just making sure that the motor works now. I think I think that's the next big thing they need to change. The plastic gear in the motor is not really a good idea. And I think it's just the cost cutting measure. That they could just add a few more bucks and they could get a better planetary jibe motor. If you look at the Kaleido M1s, and they actually use a nice little small planetary. Well, the new M1 Lite, they switched over from a rather large planetary gear brushless motor to a brushed planetary motor. So what does that mean? Well, I guess they figured the smaller brush motor is a little bit more cost effective, and I think the brushless one might have been a little bit overkill. But instead of using PWM to control the brushless controller, I think they have to do it by voltage now. But yeah, but so far I've been testing the M1 Lite against Q-Bean. So far, I don't know if it's the bean, but I've been getting the same kind of results. Has this weird aftertaste with these huehuehues from, I forget where they're from Sweet Maria. But I don't know. I get this weird astringent flavor. I guess it's astringent. It's like there's this weird aftertaste I don't like. So the next thing is just trying to figure out what's going on with that. I also did roast them light, but in the style of like how we do in the 250 gram roast with the plateaus. I'm gonna start calling it plateau maxing. So with the Skywalkers, I'm trying to see how well a plateau works versus a declining ROR. Some people they're having good results when they're doing a little bit of a plateau at the 250 gram mark. Really nice. I get these really smooth light roasts, and other people think it's heresy. So who knows? Either way, I'm gonna try it with this co-ferment today. But, I'm also gonna test this out. Hopefully, send some to the person who bought this, and hopefully they like it. There's a new coffee place that opened up by my house, called by my place or in my city, called Haru, and very excited. I went to go try out their coffees. They're excellent, excellent pour overs, fancy coffees too. Like La Hacienda Esmeralda was one of them. I was like, oh, I don't see that many places carry that. It was kind of cool. A lot of geishas. They had like a geisha lineup and co-ferments. It was strange for the community I live in. It's very nice to have fancy coffees, I guess, that I could purchase instead of having to go downtown. All right, I'm gonna push this back in. All right. So here's the back. If you want to verify that you have the newer one, it's literally, you're gonna see a fan there now. There used to be like this like brown tape that they put over it to try to cover up that this is a fan slot that you can use. Now they opened it up. They put a little, I want to say 3020 fan, 24 volts in there, blowing directly onto the heatsink. So it was very nice of them. After 2 years. The other way, if you do have the old ones, there's still a way you can put a 24 volt fan in there, but and you have the old motherboard, it just requires a little bit of modification. And by that, I mean, you're taking your snips and you're cutting off that connector because it's in the way. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to fit this 3010 fan. And then you would have to plug this right into the power supply. But luckily, you don't have to do that anymore, so it's good. Oh, let me see if I got any questions. Okay. But anywho, Okay, I'm gonna try roasting light with this. We'll see how it goes. Let's warm it up first. And then right here I have my my X bloomers right there now. So that's my go-to roasted coffee tasting machine, I guess. Anyways, let's put this back together. I should have cleared out my desk, but it's all right. I'm just trying to show out, I guess. So I'm still doing like the whole comparing M1 Lite to Q-Bean. I'm not trying to make this like a Q-Bean versus Kaleido thing. It's more of like showing the Q-Bean has actually a pretty decent roaster for the price. So far, I've roasted two coffees with it, and I'm getting the same flavor notes. I'm getting them at the same Agtron scores. Trying to do the whole declining ROR thing, and I'm getting the same kind of flavors. So, there's not a point where like the M1 is blowing me out of the water just yet. Anyways, all right. So let's try this one. I'm gonna put this in together. Get your handy dandy ESP32S3, a good cable. I already put the new firmware in. No, that's the Delta firmware. For this one, I haven't uploaded a new firmware for it, so let's go do that real quick. I'm gonna use what's his name? I'm gonna use Florin Holio's or Magnum's firmware. So I've been like getting this new case with the ESP32S3. I really like them because of the buttons. I mean, it's not the prettiest print, but it works for our needs. I don't know if you can really see the buttons on there. You kind of see them a little blurry. Anyways, like always, you always want to hit boot, press reset. And then let's go to this screen. We'll do a quick high beam firmware installation. Very easy nowadays. So, good. Oh, fine. We'll go to Skywalker. I tried to add our blog. I'm a little worried about Discord kind of shitting on us, like eventually doing the face verification thing. So I'm gonna start setting up a blog where I could put all the updates and you could find it in one place instead of scrolling through Discord. Sorry. If we're gonna do the Skybeam installation firmware, like always, click on the Skybeam V1 high beam firmware installation. I think I have Magnum's or Florin Holio's latest, which is V1.1.7. We'll do that here. We'll download. I've downloaded this thing like a million times. And then after that, we'll go back over here. We'll go back to the SkyWiki website so you could kind of follow the instructions. We downloaded that. We go to Web ESP Home. It connects. And this is the unit you're going to look for when you have an ESP32. This says just JTAG, serial debug unit. If you have this weird thing where it's like boot looping, where essentially it comes back, it's coming on and off, you need to put it in boot mode. So what you would do is hit boot, hold the boot button, hit reset, and it should set it up into boot mode. We'll go ahead, we'll connect, install, choose file, and then of course, there you go. What we just downloaded, the 1.17, 1.7. Pretty easy to install, and it should have the PID to control preheat. We're not really using PID with roasting just yet. Not to say that we're not trying, that's not our focus right now. Anyways, so now you just want to unplug it. So take that, so this is USB-C to USB-A, so now we'll take this and we'll plug it in the back. And we tested this should work with the ESP32S3 Super Mini and the ESP32 Zero. Damn. So I'll just blink like that. My tracking's not working that well. All right. Let's connect it to high beam. All right. Oh, where is my? I thought I plugged my tablet in somewhere. Let me plug this in. Ugh. So the V1, it can connect to the high beam app either by using the iPad or using an Android device or Mac OS. I think it works on there. Some people have been having some luck using Windows. I haven't had any luck using Windows so far, so I haven't been using it. All right. I'm just waiting for my tablet to start, but let me get this all connected up. I actually had one thing break on my M1 Lite recently. It's nothing big. It's kind of silly that it broke. They replaced all like the screws for the side panel with these little PC fan um little holders for the PC fan. What that happens is like it gets cut by the middle. I had like 2 of these rip, so now I got to actually got to either buy more of these or I'm just gonna use a screw. I'll thread it if I have to. Okay. But so far the testing for the M1 Lite and the QB is going pretty good. The one thing that M1 Lite really shines on is the trier. I really like that they have one. Not that I like triers, but I like that it has a trier compared to the other roasters. All right, let's start this up. So let's go back. Let me go back to my screen copy app. And we'll go back to window. All right. Here it is. Let's flip that. All right. Don't mind that. We're gonna connect this roaster up. So let's find Skywalker, Skywalker com. For Florinholio's, it's called Nimble, is what he used for his name of the roaster. So it'll either be under Nimble. Usually it's under like older firmware has ESP32 command or something. We had some silly name for it. All right, so Nimble's connected. Everything seems to be working. We can always, you also don't want to double check, so hit power. You can hear the click. You can see the light in there. Turn the fan on, make sure it turns on 100%. Drum. And then cooling fan. So those all work. Okay, we'll go to device. We're gonna warm this up. So I'm gonna go back to one of my old rows. I don't think I'll make a new one. Make a custom profile with we're gonna do co-ferment today, so we're gonna do a light roast co-ferment, not with Elmador Geisha, but with a Finca Milan Nitro Catura. It's supposed to be honeydew, watermelon, Jolly Rancher. So if you're into co-ferments, I'm gonna try to do a light co-ferment with the style of roasting that I've been trying recently. It's a little bit different. No declining ROR, but a lot of plateaus. So I'll call it plateau maxing for now. Make sure that's all in there. That looks good. One big thing, a lot of people have disconnections, so don't try to keep it too close, especially to the exhaust. We want to bring that out over here, kind of further away. I'm gonna bring this over here. I don't really like using the metal ducting connected directly to the exhaust. I notice I get a lot more condensation and dripping when that occurs, and then I get a lot of that dripping onto my unit. So I've been avoiding that. I'm gonna set up a 3D print where I'm gonna make a little a hood to go just over this direct area and just have my airwave suck it out. But I think one good way to get to manage your air and everything is getting one of those inline boosters, and then using that to kind of suck up the air a little bit. You don't want it to the point where it's like affecting your roast, but you want it just enough to pull the the smoke out of your out of that little gap. I've been doing it that way without like directly connecting it with the metal ducting, and it's I haven't had any issues with condensation. So let's go look up this one. So this is Finca Milan. Do I have it here? I don't. I wonder if I could add it. No, give me more. Uh, I'm just gonna give it just a general name. Initial inventory set? What the hell is this? Oh, okay, cool. Now you can track how much grams you're kind of using, which I think is a cool, neat feature. I didn't know I could do that. I probably should do this. Let's go back. Well, I'm trying to... Now, let me get the bean in first. Origin is... Petulia, where the fuck is that? Oh, Colombia. Colombia, this is a Catura. Catura processed. Processing nitro. This is considered fermentation. Does this give me harvest year? No. But it does give me elevation. I don't know anything about moisture, and I don't know anything about density. So I'm going to hit save. going to select this one. Set reference curve. You could look through them. I don't know if that's the one I want. That's probably not the one I want. Replace log. That's a high DTR or a low DTR I put. Let's see, I think it was this one. Yes, plateau. All right, so we're gonna start that manual roast. I'm gonna hit preheat. I got the fan going. And then let me move this picture out the way. And then I'm gonna set it up to 165. We'll start off with 165. We'll keep the fan just for preheating. Oh, I gotta put the things on it. The things. We'll put this on. I'll put the gate on. I guess I'll use the gate that came with it. Oh. Brand new gate. This thing's literally brand new. It's kind of cool. Let me turn my airwave on. DI fluid. Good. So I turn on my airwave. Make sure that's closed. That's good. Tryer's in. That's down. So we just wait till it warms up. So I got a bunch of these new units in. I'm going to double check if they all have this, and then I'm going to just sell them at the normal $350 price. I got to buy more ESP32s. I'm out. I don't know if I'm doing less, then I could just charge. It's $340. I'm not putting a fan in. So yeah, with my new units, maybe I'll gotta give $10 back to that guy. But maybe I'll take $10 off. So it'll be like in $340 instead of $350, since I don't have to put that fan in anymore. For those units. I've been using Windows laptop with high beam, had problems at first. Change from using onboard Bluetooth to using Asus usage adapter and it has been working perfectly. Yeah, Mark, I've noticed that my ThinkPad, it does really well, but my main computer, like my main like my the computer I use to stream with, it does a terrible job connecting to it. So I think maybe you're right. Maybe you need like a nice updated Asus Bluetooth adapter. I'll have to try that out. So yeah, if you could send me a link to whichever one you got, I definitely would love to try it because I've had nothing but issues with my high beam on Windows just because of the Bluetooth. Everything else seems to work fine. And I did try updating the drivers and everything. I was using a Lenovo. I was using my Lenovo. What's it? My Lenovo, not T14. Is it T14? I forget which one it is. I have a Carbon T something. T14? Yeah, okay. So I have a Lenovo T14 that I'm using, and I had um that worked pretty well, but my desktop laptop didn't work that great, and it really looked like it was just USB issues or Bluetooth issues via BLE. Oh, so with this roast, we're gonna do these rules again. I call them rules, but these are guidelines made by Val. Val's a guy on our Discord, or girl. I shouldn't assume. He's a user. They are a user in our Discord. So we're doing a 250-gram charge, a low charge between 150 to 165. I kept it at 160. I'm gonna let it warm up there, and then very low fan. They said very minimal tipping, scorching observed still though. So maybe I might raise that up, but I'm gonna keep it down to 10 again. I want to try it, see how it goes, and then the goal is to make a flat ROR, like two flat hills, because I'll be adjusting it slowly. I'll be adjusting it. I think he usually starts at 50, and then I think it goes 50, 45, then 40, 40, 45 right after giant. Like as soon as I hit dry end and go into the Maillard phase, I drop it down by 5, and then at first crack, I'll drop it down another 5 to 40 on the heater, but then I increase the fan to 50. And what we're basically doing is just we're trying to see if plateau works a little bit better than a declining ROR. Um, Everyone always talks about like, oh, we have to follow declining ROR because that's the way it's always been. Um, okay, but my main argument is this is a radiant heat roaster, and Rubase even does a little bit of plateauing in some of their roasts. And they also do like decreased first crack within 42 seconds is another big thing. And that's all using infrared. So you're utilizing what infrared could provide, which is like penetration. So penetration of the bean. So you could do like a light roast instead of dropping it at like a minute 30. You still get good development and everything if you drop it out at 42 seconds. And that's because, and they're just trying to say like the effect that like an infrared lamp has in terms of the penetration is deep enough to where it will evenly roast that bean. However, you still need to increase the fan when you're at that point because the fan acts as a way to cool off the bean. So as you're removing heat from the outside of the bean, because when you're roasting with radiant heat, it really affects the outside of the bean. It really affects it a lot more than it would with the radiant or with the convection heat. That's the theory. So far I've had like two good roasts doing it this way. Light roast, I'm not a fan of light roast until like recently when I found out, oh, this is pretty good. I usually get like maybe baked flavors. I know it's a bad word to say, but I usually get underdeveloped flavors, grassy at times. But these last two times I got this like these geishas have been like pretty good in terms of like the smooth kind of a little bit of Earl Grey kind of flavor. And there's one, I think it was the one that could really taste like the lemon in. So now I'm really just trying to use co-ferments to kind of get these other weird flavors in. But yeah, I know a lot of people will tell you like, oh, you have to follow this declining ROR because such and such said so. But you don't have to do anything. You could try the plateau ROR and see how it goes. We've had like 3 or 4 people indicate that it does pretty good. This style, but it's not exactly efficient because you're not using like the whole 450 grams. We're doing 250 and we're just augmenting it in a weird way. But yeah, different styles. People might like it, people don't. Anyways, I'm gonna keep it here. I think it's been heated up just enough, so I'm gonna measure out 250 grams. I'll keep I guess I'll keep those rules in there. One big question is like, how does ROR, like declining ROR, does it really affect the flavor if you don't have a declining ROR? And so far, I get a lot of flavors I like when I like plateau it. But I still been before that I was still declining the ROR on my other roasts, so and those came out just fine as well. So 250. Oh, this is actually a small thing. I gotta use a bigger one. I know I shouldn't have anything on top of it because it gets super hot. But fuck it. Damn. $250. All right, so 250 grams. You notice the green bars on the left, you could kind of tell like the signal's not that great, so you might want to move around the unit, maybe have it a little bit higher. Definitely keep it away, the high beam from this, like if you have a ducting, keep it away from there. I had an issue where it was like literally resetting every time it would get close to it. And I think that has to do with EMI. Electromagnetic interference. I'm gonna bring this up here. Flip this screen. There we go. Oh, it's magic. I got my funnel. And we're gonna charge this bad boy up. So I'm gonna drop the fan to 10. And I wanna make sure I hit this to 50. I'm gonna turn this off. So I'm gonna turn that off. Put this to 50. And then we're gonna charge and drop. Make sure the heater's on. All right. see what this does. I got the gates stuck a little bit, so that's why I didn't come down as nicely. All right, so yeah, for this one, heater set at 50, fan set at 10. Kind of weird, but it's set at 10. And then, standards, I think it's like 70 RPM on the jump speed default. When it's new, your jump speed decreases over time because of the, I think it basically, it's killing the motor with the heat that's in there if you roast a lot with it. I need to turn off, I can keep saying this, but I really need to turn off the predictive stuff. The predictive stuff actually works really well with Kaleido convection heat roasters. It's just not set up for like radiant heat. I should rebound right back up. Oh, we're gonna keep going down. There it goes, right back up. So keeping it at a flat plateau, just like that. Seeing how this works. Gonna be a long roast. 43. Very interesting. Part of me thinks like the cube being roasted is a little bit more convective than it is radiant, just because the way that it goes about with the ROR profile. Like it naturally declines on a cube bean, where this one actually plateaus, like legitimately plateaus, and I think that's because of the distance of the lamp to the beans. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. I think I might try her. I think it's bound to happen when you pull it out. Oh, I'm supposed to decrease it right there. All right, so we're gonna wait until it hits first crack and then see what happens after that. I gotta look at my other roast. Let me see if I can compare them on my phone. Nice thing about High Beam, I can run it on both at the same time without much issues. Choo 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 choo. No first crack yet. There it is. No? Is that not it? There it is. There it is, first crack. So we're gonna drop it at 42 seconds. Very weird profile. So yeah, this whole thing is just about getting that max plateau, maybe 2 plateaus. Oh, did I drop it to 40? And then here I'm supposed to do 50. And then drop. Let that cool. I'm supposed to drop it. I'm supposed to drop it to like 40. Drop twice. Supposed to put the fan at 50. I should set those as automations. So yeah, not exactly what you want to see on your roaster if you're doing it on like a Kaleido. The meta for them is kind of like declining ROR. I should show you what it kind of would look like on a Kaleido if I did the same exact thing. It would be you'd see a declining ROR, I think, if I just left it alone at like 50 or whatever percentage. Hmm. Oh, you can really taste the watermelon on that one. Really Jolly Rancher flavor. So weird. All right. Oh, man, you can really taste these co-ferments are ridiculous sometimes. All right. Let's get some stats. We'll put them in. I'll put them in a bag. All right. I gotta put more water in there. All right. Turn off the cooling fan. Complete the log. Let me turn that fan off. Ooh, that is a nice plateau. So 250 grams. Roasted weight is One of my favorite prints right now is this for the bean funnel. 215. %13 weight loss. Let me double check. It's not really on there that well, so I have a cup. This cup will do. All right. $215.4. All right. Off by 0.4. By 0.1, I mean. 0.4, 20.4. About 13.8%. That's good. All right, let's get some more information on it. Let's go from here. Actually, yeah, that's fine. If you don't have one of these, I'd highly recommend buying one, so you can like clear out your stuff, blow chaff out. It's very nice. Okay. Next, I'm going to do a grind. What grinder should I use? I have a niche. I have this niche now that I don't use. Probably should sell it, but I'll use this as my. I'll use this as to test my roast, or to grind it for my Agtron, my roast meter. So if you don't want to spend $500 or whatever, you could build one of these for like less than 100. This is a roast meter. Really like it. Nice, easy, nothing fancy. We'll let that warm up, and then let's move this here. So I got my little niche zero I'm going to use temporarily for grinding my beans and seeing how dark they are, what the color is. I don't need much. I'm just going to put a handful in. I shouldn't close it. I should get a cup underneath and then close it. Oh, there's a roast meter website I should try. Let me see. Where should I get the roast meter website? Roast. There it is. So here is the roast meter website. You can connect to it via BLE. Turn it on. That should be it. Roast meter. We're going to pair it. Come on. Is it going to work? I see. I think this is why I have issues with my BLE. This should connect just fine, but it's not. All right, anyways, I will just load this up and put the numbers in. Right now, it is at a 95, 96. Oh, it smells great though. So 95. So I'll put ground color level, manual input, 95. Really extremely well. It's hard to say because co-ferments are kind of weird. 95, 96. Extremely light. Okay. Let's try it out. I'm gonna put it on I'm gonna get my cubine, or not cubine, my X bloom. 3 o'clock, perfect. Perfect, enough time for me to clean my kid's room. That's my mess. I gotta clean it up one day. Let me get some water. All right. One day I will have more room. I'm just blindly pouring this in there. We're good. Oh, I should see how Discord's going. I didn't check that for a minute. Ain't nobody on Discord. All right. Okay. Got my little 3D printed negotiator. Put that air. I probably got to get it a little wet. Cool. Let me get a card for it. I actually have a card for a single origin Geisha Kutura hybrid, so I'm gonna try this. Put 15 grams in. Great. I should probably take that out. Ooh, that's cool. I never done that before. Anyways, just gonna do it again. Put the beans in. Oh, I didn't even use my. I didn't wet it. Oh well. It's gonna stick. They're so light. I honestly thought it was gonna like jam up the drum or the grinder. But yeah. So anyways, you coming in now. There's just been a big change of how the new V1s are gonna happen, or what's happening to the new V1s. They're all getting the heatsink fan installed, so that's a plus. It took about 2 years for them to realize that they should do that, and they actually added to the V2 and never added to the V1, which we're always surprised. But I think what happened is they mass ordered the one of their boards. Like I think it was this board. They mass ordered this board, and I think by the time they realized the fan wasn't going to fit, they decided just to keep running this till they're done. And then around 4 months later, they came up with another design that had a pretty much, yeah, that heat sink pushed back a little bit and that connector more to the right. And I think they moved this a little bit more to the right. So that was the biggest change. And now you have a fan that blows cool air onto it. So it cools it down and you don't have any thermal runaway. Hopefully you don't have any more thermal runaway. And just to show everyone, this is the profile we worked on. Probably share that later. And then one of the cool things you could do with high beam, of course, is you could choose your roast, go to label designer, and then got a max of 10 things, and I could print it out. Hopefully. Is it there? I think that's it. Did I unplug it? No, it's still on. Annoying. You're supposed to connect. Checking to see if I unplug my printer. There it is. Ugh. Really hope they work on the printing stuff. There it is. A little finicky still. Still a little buggy. But here. It's kind of what it printed out to on my Rolo. They probably still need to work on it a little bit, but other than that, it works okay if you have 4x6 labels. So I'm going to go fronts. We'll see what that tastes like later. All right. So I'm just going to send this coffee to Flying Pin, see if they like the profile. Let's see if they like this profile real quick. Another funnel I printed out. Been trying these different funnels online. Actually, I should save some for myself. Cool. So I got that packaged up. I'll put the label on it. Labels are kind of buggy, but it works really well if you have a 4x6 printer. So, all right, I'm gonna see what it tastes like. Hopefully it's good. That's watermelon. Again, doing it this way, every single time I've done it, I don't get this weird astringent, like kind of weird flavor I get when I do declining ROR. There's like those weird aftertastes I get. I don't get it when I roast it this way. I don't know why, but it's incredibly smooth, and every single time I do it this way, it's smooth. For some reason, this profile, the way that Val and Haha Sky's been roasting, I didn't come up with this myself. This was all up to them. Or this was all them. Yeah. It's like this. Such a weird way of roasting. It's weird because I normally don't roast like this, but we'll take a peek. Let me take this stupid camera off. All right. So look, that big up and down, um, that's a chire pull. They need a thing where you can mark when you do a chire pull because it's always going to affect the way the temperature is, and that's just the way it is. So that's not like an indictment on your roast. That's basically just I pulled the chire because I wanted to smell it. Yeah, so I plateaued twice. I actually kind of messed up at the end of the profile, but I did do 44 seconds, incredibly light roast. Incredibly smooth. You can really taste the right now, and this is day one of the roast. I could kind of taste, I could taste the watermelon of the co-ferment. So I think supposedly what's supposed to happen is after a few days, you'll really just it opens up after a few weeks. So we'll see how it tastes like in a few weeks. Well, at least Flying Pin will see what it tastes like in a few weeks. But right now, I was roasting with this other roast with the Columbia Kajama, and I did the declining ROR on it, and I'm not a fan. There's just this weird flavor, and it happened with the M1 Light and then the Cubing. So there's this weird kind of flavor that's not as smooth. I can't explain it, but it's like a really smooth. There's like a really smooth coffee without any weird taste. I'm starting to like these co-ferments. I may drop a bag in there for. No, they're kind of expensive. I can be dropping. I'm being a little too friendly sometimes, but anyways, yeah. So I'm having really good luck roasting this way. My when I do like a declining RR, I know I always get this weird kind of funky, roasty aftertaste. Like it's like a little bitter to it, but it's not like. No, I mean like the roast when I do a declining RR, it's like always a little bit bitter. It has this weird, just weird aftertaste where it gets on the throat, and I'm like, I don't really like that. It's a good cup, like when I drink it, but when aftertaste that lingers, it's like this weird thing that stays in the back of your throat. Where this one, it just stays smooth. Like I want to say the aftertaste is I can really taste the watermelon is what is really surprising me right now. It's kind of weird because it definitely has that watermelon Jolly Rancher flavor that it advertises. It says honeydew. I don't know if I really taste the honeydew, but I definitely taste the watermelon Jolly Rancher. Weird. But yeah, so in a few days it's supposed to open up. Maybe in a few weeks it'll open up and maybe you get more of the watermelon flavor. We'll see. But anyways, that's about it for today. So two big things. But one big thing is just that the newer V1s, they're kind of a little bit better of an update. You might consider getting a new one if you want those new that safety feature. Right now I have a bunch of V1s I got to put fans on. So I'm kind of like delighted to hear that these new ones are going to have that, and you don't have to do that mod anymore. Although it still will always be open and available to everyone, but if they still want to use that mod. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna send this out to Flying Pin. He already paid for it, so I'm gonna send this roaster out to him. Hopefully he enjoys it. But yeah, did a good roast with it. Was fine. Very extremely light, 96 still. It still reads 96 on the roast meter, so it's an extremely light roast. But it's really good. I might cut up a bean. I'll show you what the middle looks like. See how if it's like if it didn't if it's underdeveloped. I'm getting a lot of lemon though. Not lemon, but like a citrusy flavor. Incredibly smooth. I like that. Anyways, but yeah, if anyone wants to give that profile a shot, basically we'll go run down through what I did and what the big tenets are of this whole plateau max thing. So low charge. I think the low charge weight is interesting for sure, because usually it's 300 grams. 350 is the sweet spot for the other way of roasting, but right now we're doing 250, a really low charge, like 160, 165. What do you want to do there? I guess is what they're thinking is prevent like a lot of scorching or tipping. It must be the reason why they want to keep it at 165. And then the low fan, very minimal, so it's still able to trap that hot air, convection heat, radiant heat in there. Still kind of roast up the beans, but at the same time still take it in air out, and the smoke out throughout the roast. What we're trying to achieve is just two flat ROR, of two flat ROR kind of two flat hills is what Val wrote. So you flatten it out because you stay at like what 50% the whole time for the beginning. Once you hit a dry end, you drop it down by 5, so you hit 45, and then by the time you hit first crack, you drop it to 40 on the lamp, 40% on the lamp, and then you bump it up to 50% on the as soon as you hit first crack. And what that does is it's supposed to like take all the smoke out, right? You take all the smoke out, and you cool off the beans while it's in the development phase. That's kind of like the thing. But anyways, I guess that didn't really do anything. I'm just playing with my mic. Audience. Anyways, tell me how it goes. Tell me how you think. If you happen to try this profile, let me know. If you have any questions, concerns, or curious about these units, I might have more units with this fan on, so let me know. I'm probably gonna send back $10 to what's his face, the Flying Pin, because I didn't have to do them on. So less time on me doing work. Anyways, let me know if you have any questions, concerns, or comments. Other than that, keep on roasting. That's about it. Anyways, take care. Bye.